This video and its contents are for adult collectors. I really wanted to hate Legacy Sideburn. I thought I wasn't gonna get Legacy Sideburn, but here we are. Here he is, and I like him. I don't know why. I think he's good, and I think the vehicle mode, the most controversial part of this guy, fits. Look at the glittery windshield. Isn't that cool? Like, it's nice. And sure, the figure does have its flaws, like this gigantic gap at the back. That was there on Shadow Striker. But there's other things that are really nice, like when's the last time the mushroom pegs were painted to match the rims? That's crazy that they went to that level of detail for this guy. And it's nice. Sure, the headlights aren't painted, and I wish the flames had the white outline, but I mean, there's toy hacks for that, right? Isn't that what we say? I also love the unintentional weapon storage in here. Like, that's so much fun. And the vehicle is so strange. Like, look, the legs stretch the entire length of it. As I said, there are some wonderful details on here that really make this feel like Sideburn, despite the fact that the vehicle mode is pretty wrong. It's shockingly fitting. It's still a sleek blue car that looks like he can run down the highway. For comparison, here he is with Reveal the Shield Jazz, Legacy Crankcase, quit shaking the camera, idiot, Earthspark Bumblebee, and of course, Machine Wars Hoist. All right, transformation on Sideburn. Let's do it. See if we can do without parts forming majorly. There is one piece of parts forming that is key, and that is the bumper does in fact just parts form off. Guarantee you in about 5 years, you're not gonna be able to find any of these with that piece on there. I bet there's some Sideburns on eBay right now that don't have that part. You wanna crack this lid open, and we're gonna transform this without that popping off. Then you wanna come over to the doors, pop them over, and then you want to lift up the arms so they untab from the legs. From here, you want to shake out the gun. Come down here and untab the feet from the white bracket. It might be easier just to push them through. So yeah, so you want to untab these sections. Then you want to come up here to the front, push this up until everything untabs. So until this section right there untabs from itself. So there we go. Now that's up. And so we kind of have like an eldritch horror of a transform. We got all the arms up here, the face right there, and the legs are up above the shoulders and the head. So how we correct this is we push the legs out and rotate them down, fold up the foot and fold them down. Same thing on the other side. Fold the leg out, rotate it down, fold it in, and push the foot down. That's gonna form our legs. Really nice and easy there. From here, we want to take this bracket piece, rotate these arms back, and then we want to bring this down like so and kind of collapse it on this double hinge. We're gonna collapse this together in just a moment. Right now, we're gonna focus on the torso here. We're gonna fold this flap all the way in. We're gonna take these two flaps and fold them part of the way in. And then we're going to fold the torso together. So from here, there's a tab there, there's a tab there, and you want to accordion all of this together until it snaps into place like that. Fold this down. And for the most part, we have Sideburn here. Kind of straighten everything out, get him in a nice little standing position, but we do have two pieces left over. And this is where we can get a little creative. We can either give him the bumper gun from his RIDO1 toy, or we can give him his mini knife and the arm guard. But since he already has a shield on this arm, we're actually gonna take this off and we're gonna use it as his bumper gun, as I typically display him with that. And there we have RIDO1 Sideburn in his robot mode. Robot mode is where you really see this thing become Sideburn. He looks like him. The head is iconic, still using that glittery green plastic for all the light piped parts in his head, and I love the scouter look. And it's honestly not a bad figure. Like, I think I'm really coming around to this mold. I've talked about it with Shadow Striker, how I felt it was kind of limited, but there's details on here that really scream Sideburn, specifically the legs, chest, and head. It's really the arms where it falls flat. But still, like, this is a fantastic representation of the RIDO1 character. There are some spots where the white paint does bring the light, the blemishes, like right here. But if you can ignore that, you can see that he's a very versatile little figure. He's a decent deluxe with a fun transformation, and I've very much enjoyed handling him so far. The paint on the chest and crotch is really nice. Like, they didn't have to go all out here, you know? I really like how clean the backpack is too. It all comes together. Like, for a guy who's known for having kibble, this is not a lot of kibble. And the backpack kibble does double as weapon storage. It's overall a grand figure. Here he is next to Legacy Leader Scourge,
and Legacy Deluxe tow line to round out the RID guys. Here he is with an original RID character, Heavy Load. Here he is with channel mascot Laserfire holding other channel mascot Shattershock, and of course, Machine Wars Hoist, who was also used in the original RID toy line.
Alrighty, articulation on Sideburn. We're gonna drop the weapon just so I don't knock it off. He does have a very, very nice head sculpt with a little scouter on there. It can look left, it can look right, and it can tilt up and down. I think there's a little bit less movement in this one than there was on Shadow Striker. Arms can go up, they can go down, and they can go... You kind of got to play with that hinge to get the pose you want, because he does have like the Megatron shoulders. He does have a 90-degree elbow with swivel wrists. He has a fairly inhibited waist swivel, which is great because he does have all this like crap back here. His legs go forward that much, they go back that much, out that much, and have a thigh rotation. He has slightly more than 90 knees, ankle tilts all the way, and his foot can flip forward. So that's it for articulation on him, but there are some really, really fun details about this. Like, you know, the legs are almost one-to-one Sideburn legs. The car roof shield thing here is really cool. And I forgot to focus on that, but I do really like his arm Autobot symbol. That is nice. Some changes from the original Sideburn, since I know people are going to ask. His arms now have this dark blue section, and his feet are not blue. Other than that, he's a very, very close representation, and the colors are almost spot on to the original Sideburn.
Overall, I think Sideburn is a great addition to the RID01 Legacy cast. He looks great next to Towline, he looks good next to Scourge, and while Omega Prime is probably going to be a little bit out of scale with this dude, he's probably going to look good with that too. I think it's a good thing that Legacy ended out the RID01 cast with Sideburn because he was a figure that needed an update that was easier to get than the TFCC one. I think I misjudged this guy based on Shadow Striker too. I wasn't really happy with how I obtained Shadow Striker, so looking at Sideburn in that same light wasn't favorable. But having him in hand and getting him out of the box, he is very, very good, and I'm glad I have him. If you guys see this guy, I recommend picking him up. He's a good get, and if you're a fan of RID01, he's a great representation of Sideburn. It's great to see RID01 getting some love in Legacy as well. I hope we see some more stuff. I know there's a Skybite on the horizon, and I can't wait to get my hands on that as well. With that all said, YouTube thinks you'll like this video over here. Don't forget to check out the support links in the description, and I'll see you in the next one. This has been Bots Obsession. I'd also like to give a shout out to my Patreon supporters, Luke Thompson, Grim Lockdown, Proton Collectibles, Max Devonshire, and Beyblade Sandwich. Thank you for supporting the channel.